The travel industry is moving fast, and at Focusrite, we are tracking these changes in markets around the world. From shifting search and booking behaviors to rising expectations around personalization and purpose, it's clear that travelers are putting new demands on suppliers and destinations. That means the pressure is on for travel marketers not just to keep up, but to lead. And savvy marketers know that success depends on using data wisely, transforming numbers into actionable intelligence. This video series from our partner Zartico breaks down key trends and offers practical tips to keep your marketing sharp, relevant, and ready for what's next.
So while we're capturing this movement data, and again, we're pairing it into these segmented signals, there are these little cues, which I like to consider micro moments of a decision that gets made. Maybe I make a decision to go to shop, or I'm going to a spa, right? Maybe I'm making a decision, I want to go into a winery or a brewery, right? Each one of those moments, when bucketed, it becomes part of the journey story. So when we think about marketing and the need for personalization, we know now over 79% of the population prefers to be spoken to on a one-on-one level and personalized. We now know, right, this individual, this grouping of individuals is interested in breweries, spas, music, and we can weave those components together to create an inspiration as part of the travel planning cycle that draws them in fully. I love the story of Temecula Valley in Southern California, right? I'm a big wine fan myself, and I love California wineries, and this is a destination that's rich with a variety of wines, from bubbles to Syrahs to the Cab Francs, and they're attracting visitors from all over the U.S. as well as internationally. So as they've leveraged Zartico's visitor insights, they've looked at this intelligence and identified new markets that they were never tapping into before. Uniquely, they were never tapping into Salt Lake or Denver, even though we're just a very quick plane ride away. So they identified this is an opportunity market that's really going to spend a lot in the destination and make it a quality visit. Go to the places they want them to go and leave, right, a solid footprint for the future. So they redirected their marketing towards these specific markets right here in the US, and what they saw nearly overnight was increases of over 6% coming in spend, as well as arrivals. And then we looked at the accommodations, they near doubled their spend in lodging, right, going from $388 a night to over $634 a night. So it's quite incredible when you target the right consumer, right? So if you think about their story and how we're focusing on Salt Lake, right, let's think about that Denver traveler, and let's think about that Palm Springs traveler that they're bringing in, right? What they've also identified is that different travelers from different markets, they have different preferences, right? I do, as do you. And what they've seen is that some of these markets are really drawn to those wineries that are rich with Syrahs. The other ones, they're looking for the Pinots, they're looking for the bubbles, they're looking for the Cab Francs. And so it becomes this really interesting and fun pairing, especially when you're a wine enthusiast, right? It's like my meal paired with the right wine. Well, it's my market and my personality paired with the right destination and the right place. It's very fascinating. It is more important than ever that businesses leverage visitor intelligence when they're looking to attract and fill need, right? It allows us to create a predictable revenue pattern instead of having these ups and downs, right? So we leverage this intelligence and it guides us through times of uncertainty, especially like where we are now. When you have the right visitor profile and you're targeting them, attracting them during the inspiration and discovery phases of travel, right, you're catching your attention, you're bringing them into you, and what you're doing is, right, your business is working this angle, your DMO is working this angle, right, your adjacent businesses are working the same angles, and we get this beautiful rising tide lifts all shifts, right? We're all rising together and creating this mutual attraction. You're also increasing spend now on the ground when you're targeting the right visitor. If they're coming in and they're contributing to your visitor economy, they're going to be putting dollars in the cash registers. You're going to be able to attract them to stay longer and again, spend more while they're there. And then you get quality out of it. So going back to that footprint component, it is so important that when we're bringing people to our destination, right, the experience that we put out there into the world, into the marketing world, matches what they experience on the ground, and we're able to guide them through the meaningful moments of our destination, and they can immerse themselves in the locality. And that's what we consider a quality visit, right? Somebody that comes, leaves a minimal footprint, and becomes part of the fabric of the community. When you have visitor intelligence, a visitor is anyone that's going to any sort of travel or entertainment venue. So when we think about visitors, we think about guests that are at hotels, we think about guests or visitors at ski resorts or attractions, right? This relates to aviation and cruise, as well as destination specific. And so this visitor data, it's useful for everyone that's involved. The more that we can liberate it and give access, but you have the power to, again, influence your own bottom line, but your taxes, your revenue collections, and really identify product development components. That is one of the most fabulous components of visitor insights when we look at property specific. Understanding their journey that not just happens on your property, or you're already catching that in a transactional way, but it's about what's happening off your property, very quickly identifies product gaps that you might have. You know, I have seen many instances where properties have identified, hey, I'm missing a coffee shop, or maybe I need to get my spa room more robust. Quite exciting. I think back right here to Salt Lake with NBA All-Star Game, celebrity event hosted here, right, huge draw. They've been hosted all over the country, and in working with Salt Lake and then on the ground with the Delta Center and the Salt Palace and the different venues, very quickly identified the needs of the consumers, what they would be looking for. We actually studied past games and used that as predictive intelligence. One of the coolest things that we identified was they wanted bars. They wanted to go to drinking establishments before the games, after the game. We didn't have quite enough bars at the time. And so we were able to get, for the first time ever, approval from the state for pop-up bars right here in Utah. And I would say that that approval has spawned a number of pop-up restaurants in our culinary scene, really adding to our product value since I've been here since the NBA All-Star Games just 3 years ago. As a marketer myself, and so many of us are, I think we all have that level of marketing within us, right? That promotion. When we take human data, that behavioral movement, and we try to consume it via charts and graphs, and it doesn't capture the essence of human emotion. And that is just been so incredible. Being here at Zartico and working in technology in general, right? Having this ability now, and we think about AI and how that's evolved, digital transformation coming on the heels of COVID, right? How much we've grown. We now have this incredible ability to take what we would normally consume in charts and in graphs and put it out into the world in a way that matches the human element. So we're able to display it where you can very clearly see, oh, this is where people are coming from. This is what they're actually doing. And that solves, right, the marketing challenge that we've all looked for forever. I'm a former hotelier, and I used to dig through, years ago, back through my Google Analytics, and I would say, okay, this is who rang my cash register. So I knew I was getting visitors from these various locations, but what I couldn't see, right, my Google Analytics also told me who came to my website, but what I couldn't see was what I lost. And now I can understand not just what I rang, but what happened around me and where my opportunity was. This gives us the power to now finally influence measurable ROI, increase our market share, and expand into new markets at a faster rate than we've ever been able to before with half the resources.